Yeah, we back. Now, this video was originally going to be a Patreon exclusive, but I felt like, you know what? I felt like being generous, so we're going to talk about it on the main YouTube channel. Take a look up on the screen. As you can see, Niger says it will nationalize a uranium venture operated by the French company Orano. Now, as you know, the dispute between the military government in Niger and the French multinational uranium company Orano, that's been going on for about a year now, starting back last summer when Niger had taken back the license from the company, stripping them of their rights to be able to explore and extract uranium. That led to later in December of last year, them taking over the uranium mine altogether. And then if you remember, I did a video recently, not too long ago. This article was in the headlines. Orano is considering the sale of their Niger uranium assets. So the company was actually contemplating selling it off and getting it off their hands. Now the government in Niger has taken it upon themselves to, we're not going to waste no time. We're just going to take it, we're going to take it off your hands personally. You don't got to sell it off to nobody. We just going to take it off your hands and you can go about your business, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now let's get into these articles. Niger plans to nationalize a uranium mine operated by French nuclear firm Orano as it continues to pivot away from former colonial ruler France. The company, which is 90% owned by the French state, said on Friday that Niger's military rulers' planned nationalization of the Sommer mine was part of a systemic policy of stripping mining assets, threatening to take legal action over the move. So as per usual, the adversary crying and complaining about losing their economic assets, which is to be expected. But, life ain't fair, big bruh. Life ain't fair. Let's continue. Orano, the French nuclear fuel specialist, posted a loss of 133 million euros in the first half of 2024 due to the deteriorating political situation in Niger affecting its mining activities. Now, if you remember last year, due to the fact that they were stripped of their mining licenses, they ended up recording a loss of over 133 million euros just for the first half of last year. And we're not even taking into account the second half of last year, which obviously led them towards the end of last year. The government of France, because this is a state-owned company, the government of France owns this company, they had to step in and bail out the company with hundreds of millions of dollars to cover the losses and be able to pay their bills and their salaries and their overhead, etc., etc. So they had to go into the treasury in order to save the company. And that's why they were contemplating selling the company off and cutting their losses. And now the military government in Niger has stepped in and said, we are going to take over. We're going to take over all these assets for you, big bro. You don't got to sell nothing off. We're just going to take it over. And let's continue. The military government, which came to power in 2023, pledged to review mining concessions. They said a day prior that it intended to take control over the Sommer mine, accusing Orano of taking a disproportionate share of the uranium produced at the site. Orano holds a 63% stake in Sommer, while Niger state owns the remainder. But the government said that Orano had taken 86% of the production between the mine's launch in 1971 and 2024. Okay, so essentially, similar to the situation with Barrick and Mali, Orano, this company, is accused of committing financial crimes, right? So these guys committing financial crimes, and they get upset when they suffer repercussions for their actions. Now let's continue. Faced with the irresponsible, illegal, and the unfair behavior by Orano, a company owned by the French state, a state which is openly hostile towards Niger since July 2023, the government of Niger has decided in full sovereignty to nationalize Sommer, the authorities said on Thursday. Orano, which has been operating in Niger for 50 years, is involved in several arbitration processes with the country. Last month, it sued the Nigerian authorities after the disappearance of its director and the raiding of its local offices. Niger's decision to nationalize Sommer comes amid a wave of mining nationalizations across West Africa, notably in Mali and Burkina Faso, both of which are governed by military governments. Now, I guess it's not only myself that's battling frivolous lawsuits. Now, anyway, let's continue. As you can see, a statement was put out by the company, similar to the statement put out by Barrick, right? Orano says that we oppose the nationalization plans of Niger. But just last month, you said you wanted to sell off the assets. What's wrong, big bruh? You said you wanted to sell off the assets. You wanted to, cut your losses and get it off your hands. So we took the initiative, right? We wanted to be, We wanted to help you out because you wanted to get the assets off your hands. So we decided to take the assets off your hands. Why do you oppose us taking the assets off your hands, bro? Just last month, you said you wanted to sell it off, right? So we took the initiative for you, and we have taken the asset off your hands. So you don't gotta worry about this headache anymore. Don't be stressed out about don't be stressed out no more, bro. We got it, right? We gonna take care of it. Let's continue. Let's get into the statement put out by the company. They said this. On June 19th, 2025, the government of Niger announced in an official statement following its Council of Ministers meeting its intent to appropriate Somer, a joint venture co-owned since 1968 by Orano and SOPAMIN, I believe that's the government of Niger, which represents the Nigerian state within the mining company's shareholding. The expropriation move is yet a further step in the military authorities' ongoing strategy to expel Orano from Niger following their seizure of power in 2023, despite the company's repeated efforts to engage in dialogue and cooperation. Now, time out, right? Now, Orano is trying to play victim, right? They're saying they're trying to expel the company from the country since their seizure of power, right? Their seizure of power, right? But you got to understand, Orano is a state-owned company. It's not a private company owned by a private citizen. Orano is owned by the French government, right? And the French government, if you remember, when the military government came to power, they were openly calling for a military intervention in the country to restore democracy, right? They were openly calling for the violent removal of the military government and the restoration of the so-called democratic leader, democratic president Mohamed Bazoum. So the company is directly attached to the government, and the French government is openly hostile to the current authorities in Niger, right? So Orano represents the economic interests of a hostile foreign government, right? That threaten the national security and sovereignty of the nation. So due to that fact, you cannot separate yourself from the actions of your government. You are a state-owned entity that is operated by your government. So due to the fact that your government is openly hostile and is an open enemy, we cannot separate that fact, right? Due to the fact that your government is an enemy, you are also seen as a hostile adversary within the borders of the country. So yes, it makes perfect sense to strip you of all your licenses, your rights, and your mining concessions, because simply as a matter of national security and common sense, you cannot allow a state-owned company that is connected to a hostile foreign power to have control over your natural resources. It doesn't make any political sense. It doesn't make any sense in terms of national security, foreign policy in any way. So y'all got to stop playing victim, right? Orano, stop playing victim. The shareholders at Orano, stop playing victim, right? You already said you wanted to sell off the assets, so we decided to take the initiative to take it off your hands personally, right? So you don't got to worry about selling it off. We're just going to take it from you. Let's continue. Orano strongly condemns this systemic campaign to dispossess the group of its mining assets in clear violation of the agreements binding the group and the Nigerian state with respect to Somer. This action also reflects a broader effort to spread misinformation and undermine Orano's reputation. Listen, bro, your government undermined your own reputation when your government was calling for blood to be spilled in order to restore democracy, right? Your government destroyed your reputation. Let's continue. As a reminder, in December 2024, Orano reported having lost control over its Nigerian subsidiaries due to unlawful actions taken by representatives of the Nigerian state. In response, the group initiated several international arbitration proceedings. This litigation is now Orano's last possible recourse after several attempts at amicable resolution having gone unanswered. As previously stated, Orano intends to seek full compensation for the damages and will assert its rights to the stock corresponding to Somer's production to date. Orano also reserves the right to initiate any and all legal actions, including criminal proceedings, if necessary, against any third parties involved in the unlawful seizure of materials in violation of its offtake rights. Now, as you can see, as per usual, the adversary operating in pure delusion, believing they have rights to defend. You have no rights, brother. You have no rights. You're a foreign entity. You're a foreigner. You have no rights, right? You have no rights because we accuse you of financial crimes, right? You breached the contract. They said that you were supposed to take a certain percentage and a certain share. They said you have been underreporting your extractions, right? Just like Barrick and Mali, you have been running off without paying your taxes. So you are guilty of financial crimes, which means that as a criminal, you have no rights. You have no rights that we are due to respect. You have no rights that the black man is due to respect. That's simply the fact of the matter. Now, I don't know what's going on in the month of June, December 2025, but it seems to be nationalization season, right? Just last week, I dropped a video about Burkina Faso. You know, the captain, Ibrahim Traore, completed the nationalization of 5 gold mining assets, right, from the European multinationals. And then, of course, last week also in the same week, Mali took back the gold mining complex from Barrick Gold, one of the largest gold mining corporations on the planet, one of the most valuable gold mines on the planet, right? So the AES in the month of June, I don't know what's going on. Them boys, it's summer 2025, baby. Them boys outside, right? Shout out to my brothers, man. Shout out to my brothers. But yeah, man, that's what it is. I was originally going to drop this on their Patreon for the Patreon family, but I felt generous. I felt like we had to talk about this as a family, as a collective, right? So yeah. Anyways, man, as you already know, yesterday I dropped my first ever music video, Cap Henry in 1814, the hottest track off the album. I seen that's the track that y'all reacted to the most, y'all played the most, and that seems to be the track that got the most traction off the album. So I decided that, you know, it was only right that I drop a music video for the track. So yeah, man, go enjoy that. I'm gonna pin that at the top in the comments, and it's in the description as well. And also in the description, subscribe to the Patreon, join the Patreon family. This was originally going to go on the Patreon. These are the type of videos that, you know, we be talking about on the Patreon. But yeah, man. So join the Patreon, watch the music video, enjoy the music video. Got love for y'all, man. It's your boy Nevercard. That's the link, and I'm gone. Peace.
Yeah. We back. Spreading my wings and I had to get fly. Up at the top, an incredible vibe. Came from the bottom, I'm up in the sky. Everyone look and said, baby, you fine. Wake up each morning and handle my business. They just be talking, you see me, I live. Ride on my enemies, sounding like thunder. 1804, got that shit in my spirit. 1804 when I step in the building. 1804, that's word of my mother. Rise my women and die for my brother. Never gonna fall when I'm deep under pressure. Tell them we back and they better accept it. Move like a king, every step is divine. Ride on my enemies with no exception. Taking revenge and I'm taking what's mine. Told me she love me and said that it's real. So independent, ain't signing no deal. Feel like a king and I'm up at Cap Henry. I'm in the citadel, top of the hill. Trying to run up and we let off a cannon. Secret location, I'm keeping it sealed. You ain't retaliate, Franco Medina. Came to the country and he got killed. You ain't retaliate, Rafi Mans. Thought you was loyal, thought you was real. Didn't even want to come pick up the body. Had your man locked up, he died in the cell. Up at the palace, I'm throwing a party. Right on the south and I'm giving them hell. And my little shorty, she looking exotic. African features, she casting a spell. Run to the check like I work on my fitness. Wake up each morning and handle my business. Said that she love me, she want my genetics. Wanna get married and make it official. Wanna get married and have my babies. Up in the city, I'm riding Mercedes. Up in the city, they treat me like royalty. Feeling like Dolph, talking about lords. Spreading my wings and I had to get fly. Up at the top, an incredible vibe. Came from the bottom, I'm up in the sky. Everyone look and said, baby, you fine. Wake up each morning and handle my business. They just be talking, you see me, I live. Ride on my enemies, sounding like thunder. 1804, got that shit in my spirit. 1804 when I step in the building. 1804, that's word of my mother. Rise my women and die for my brother. Never gonna fall when I'm deep under pressure. Tell them we back and they better accept it. Move like a king, every step is divine. Ride on my enemies with no exception. Taking revenge and I'm taking what's mine. Pour up a drink and it's time that we toast. Watching my back, keep my enemies close. Only the family, I stick with my brothers. Cannons position outside of the coast. Heavy artillery for the protection. Move like a general, stick to the code. Feel like a king when I'm up in the north. Beautiful women, they trying to get chose. Launch an invasion all over the south. Capture the capital with all my woes. Look at my energy and my demeanor. Dripping that ice and that's head to my toes. Lately I'm flexing all on the Americans. Flexing my muscle on missing my road. Just got a carriage just coming from London. Boy, that shit cash, I ain't taking no loans. Boy, that shit cash, that's fresh on the boat. Enemy know I got millions in gold. Enemy know I got choppers and cannons. How did I do it? They can't understand it. How did I do it? It's cause I'm relentless. Call me King Harry, my name is cemented. Call me King Harry, I'm up in the palace. Call me King Harry, I'm raising the status. Feeling untouchable, energy sacred. When I pull up, know my enemies.